What's up everybody, Anime X here, and with the Dragon Ball Super anime coming back fairly soon, I wanted to make a couple of Dragon Ball related videos, and since I haven't gone into much detail on Jiren's power for quite a bit, I decided that this video would be appropriate. If this video sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be alerted to all of my content, and if you want to interact with me in the Anime X community more and have more influence, links to where you can do that are down below, being my Discord. And so with the formalities out of the way, without further ado,
let's get started.
So, the first of the feats that I want to talk about is Jiren's feat of pushing back a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x 20 Super Spirit Bomb just by glaring at it. This is already impressive when looking at it from a surface level, but when you take a deeper look at this, you can see that the Spirit Bomb would have rivaled or even surpassed Gods due to the few key statements from Belmod. Before Goku launches the attack, Belmod states that Jiren's power surpasses that of Gods and that no one can beat him. This can be interpreted in two ways. One way is that it can be taken is that Belmod assumes that Jiren surpasses angels and everything above, which wouldn't make much sense just because he wouldn't know the upper limits of the angel's power, which leads to the second way it can be interpreted, which is basically assuming that he knows that Jiren surpasses his power and any other god of destruction similar in power. This is significant because directly after stating this, Goku launches the Spirit Bomb. And for a second, Belmod is worried that Jiren would not be able to push this back with his power, which leads me to think that the Super Spirit Bomb would have more power than a God of Destruction just because he knew Jiren was as well. If all the assumptions are correct, which they most likely should be, this means that even before Ultra Instinct debuts, Goku and a heavily suppressed Jiren should clearly surpass or at least rival the level of gods. Another major feat of Jiren's actually does not come from fighting Goku in any form. It actually comes from the Universe 6 Assassin hit. This actually comes from the very last attack that a hit attempts to use against Jiren, and as you know if you watch a Tournament of Power, the final attack obviously did not work against him, which leads to the feat of Jiren breaking through Hit's Cage of Time, which would make him surpass Time, also making him a 40 level character, or at least a 3D level character with 40 feats. And if you've never heard anyone make a similar claim, let me break down my reasoning very quickly. So, first of all, I have to explain why breaking this Cage of Time makes Jiren 40 and makes him surpass Time, whereas Goku beating Hit's time skip doesn't. It basically boils down to Hit's regular time skip ability allowing him to essentially skip forward in time, a certain amount of time. For example, Hit's first time was about 0.1 seconds, which is why Goku being able to hit and beat Hit's time skip ability doesn't necessarily surpass Time, because Hit is only forcing himself through time faster, rather than slowing down Goku. On the other hand, when Hit traps Jiren in his Cage of Time, he actually binds Jiren in place using his time manipulation abilities. This means that Jiren is able to completely overpower that time cage and he can surpass Time. This is also backed up by Vados herself saying directly after this that Jiren can surpass Time, which leads me to my biggest and most controversial claim of this fairly short video. So the sort of big claim or the conclusion to this video is that Jiren surpasses Time, therefore making him a 3-dimensional character in terms of his existence with 4-dimensional feats. In fiction pieces like this is possible. Basically, Jiren exists on a 3-dimensional plane such as a universe similar to ours in composition, but he can perform feats that would classify him as a 4D character, quote unquote. This is due to basically the dimensions, up to 3D being length, width, and depth. And the 4th dimension would be time. So if you're able to interact with time on a certain level, that would basically classify you as a 4D character. But Jiren can only perform some feats that would be 4D level. Some of those 4D level feats are being able to completely destroy the time and space of a universe, which Jiren could possibly do since he scales much higher than a Goku, who almost performed this feat in the first arc of Super. Another 4D feat would be transcending time, which Jiren has a feat and statement directly scaling to that. And the argument could be made that he would have infinite speed if he surpasses Time. Whether you agree with that scaling in particular doesn't really factor much into the conclusion of the video. I just make the argument that Jiren has 40 feats, and I hope that if you downplayed Jiren's strength before, this video cleared up any misconception with Jiren's power. I really made this video kind of just like rushly. I didn't want to make I just wanted to get back into some Dragon Ball Super scaling before I start scaling the Dragon Ball Super character Moro, and so expect some more Dragon Ball Super content. I would just like to thank everyone that made it to the very end of the video, and if you enjoyed this video and enjoy my content in general, consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be alerted to all of my content. And if you want to interact with me on a more personal level and want to become a part of the Anime X community, links to my Amino and Discord are down below, which is where you can do exactly that. And as always guys, this is Anime X, signing off.